The NASA Inspector General warns astronaut corps may be too small. What to do now? It's quite uncommon for a company like NASA to be understaffed, but that is going on in the current circumstances. It's being heard that NASA might need more astronauts to meet its human spaceflight goals over the next few years. This might surprise many people because NASA doesn't make announcements like these. Then again, 2022 might be an even bigger year of surprises after 2020 and 2021. The missions and the astronauts. As of now, NASA only carries astronauts into International Space Station aboard the SpaceX capsule crew and Soyuz vehicles of Russia. NASA's Artemis program, which is due to return humans to the moon, is planning to change these matters with the program's first crewed mission targeted for 2024, which is 2 years from now. This flight will make it the first stage in development a long-term exploration program that will support the exploration of Mars by humans. That, of course, is something planned for the future, as several agencies including NASA are working on this goal. With so many expeditions in the pipeline, NASA is looking to dispatch more astronauts off of Earth, and once it does, it will eventually come across a shortage of astronauts. NASA reached its peak in the year 2000 when it had 150 astronauts. The size has gone down ever since the years passed, and the figure currently stands at 44. This is one of the smallest groups of astronauts for any space agency in the last 20 years. As NASA currently enters a new time of human spaceflight, such as the return to the moon, and eventually managing to land humans on Mars, an effective technique will be the management of astronaut corps. This is because these people are what will take the agency to success. The astronauts are what will take the space agency forward. Roles of astronauts. While going to space is the most vital role these people have in NASA, the agency also assigns other roles to these astronauts, such as making them capsule communicators who relay information from mission control to the depths of space where other astronauts have been sent. These astronauts also help train other astronauts, and finally, they also make public appearances to brief the public about NASA's projects. Training new astronauts can only be done by experienced personnel already present in NASA. When the newer ones come in, they take them under their wing and teach them all the necessary things for spaceflight. This is done because this isn't a sector where test flights can be made for every new astronaut that comes in. This is why experienced astronauts must make the newcomers learn what lies in the atmosphere outside of our green planet. Also, public appearances are necessary to be made because NASA is probably one of the biggest space agencies in the world, and it's deemed necessary to inform the general public of what kind of space expeditions are being carried out and what are the ones planned in the coming time. It gives people the knowledge of what kind of projects are being worked upon, and it gives motivation to the younger generation who wish to pursue this field in the coming time. Right now, NASA needs a lot of motivation to give out due to apparent reasons. Reasons for shortage. The shortage of astronauts is baffling because astronauts are not interchangeable. NASA assigns astronauts their specific flights based on their criteria of flight experience, along with their on-hand training of the specific vehicle and their expertise with the rest of the flight crew. The reason expertise with the rest of the crew is essential is that all team members need to work together to make sure that a successful space mission takes place. The requirements mentioned above will become even more complicated to attain as NASA astronauts fly on different vehicles to several destinations. Reassigning astronauts is needed because all 44 astronauts have been selected and trained for the same mission. As NASA undertakes newer missions with new requirements and more vehicles involved, these astronauts will no longer be restricted to a single mission. Instead, they will be spread out to different missions after training for the specific one. Selection criteria. NASA uses a formula to select the number of astronauts in each induction class. The latest class was announced in December 2021 for 10 astronauts, and the general training for these astronauts has just begun. The class that graduated in January 2020 managed to add 11 astronauts to the Corps. Once a person has the status of a full-fledged astronaut, training for a space mission is done for another 1.5 to 2 years. By putting these years into context, the latest class of astronauts that have been inducted, the earliest they shall be flying will be at the end of 2025. So more recruitments need to be made as soon as possible if NASA is to overcome this shortage. This is because training these recruits take years, and NASA will want to deliver a decent bunch of recruits moving into the second half of the decade. Starting recruitment now would be a wiser option because that time might not be on NASA's side. As discussed earlier, As new inductees enter the fray, the others focused on a single mission will be dispersed to other missions, so NASA must take this step. Future missions. Speaking of the Artemis missions earlier, these missions are expected to require the same training period as space station missions because of their level of importance. NASA has currently chosen a group of 18 people from which they will be shortlisting members of the Artemis crew. Although no seats have been assigned yet, the agency developing the training program for its moon missions. As for the Artemis program, NASA might be running low on time from what sources have told. NASA's astronaut corps situation will be a constraint in the coming time due to future missions and factors such as budgets, spacesuit supplies, and manufacturing of rockets. If not addressed, these factors could disrupt crews, training periods, and mission delays. As per astronaut quantity and training schedules, the report also says that the agency has beefed up its information management system for better data transmission to demographics and skills to facilitate astronauts. NASA is working more on quality now as quantity is harder to get rid of. Quality in terms of diversity, as NASA is pushing for different representations in their team, as the agency needs a spot on demographic information about its astronauts. As missions head to planetary surfaces instead of the lower orbit of the Earth, tracking which astronauts have expertise in which field will be essential to see. What's next? As for NASA, they will look to improve the number of astronauts they get their hands on. The following number are an indicator that the environment at NASA might not be what people might be expecting, especially a lot of them. But if NASA turns this around in due time, then all will be well. NASA now needs to focus on recruiting people as fast as possible. This will lead to people, the workload on a single mission, much less. The number of astronauts, which was once 150 2 decades ago, is not even close to that now. This is something that can be changed with effective recruiting strategies. The matter of diversification is also something that NASA can exploit because people worldwide are enthusiastic about exploring the unknown. With better recruitment strategies, this can be made possible. Firstly, the aim should be to recruit locally and then move on to international recruitment. With 2 international recruitments in the latest batch of astronauts, we expect this number to go higher shortly. This is a risk NASA will have to take to improve in less time. Time is of the essence, and before the best recruits are not taken in, NASA will regret it for a long time. The first half of this decade might be slow, but NASA certainly has the tools to flip the narrative for the second part of the decade. NASA will look to fast-track the recruiting process since it benefits them. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.